Hi everybody! Welcome back to my craft room. I'm Whitney Lucas with Crafty Thoughts and Whatnots, and today's Facebook Live I want to do a fall wreath, grapevine wreath with not your average colors. This year turquoise seems to be crazy popular with oranges, and I went to a couple craft stores the other day, Michael's and Joann's and Hobby Lobby. Well, I didn't go to Hobby Lobby. I went to Michael's definitely, and everything is clearanced out. Of course, this time of year, what is today? Today's October 14th. So everything right now is focusing on Christmas. And when you go into the stores, Halloween is on 70% off, fall is at 50-60% off, and Christmas is just making it into the stores. So I knew I wanted to at least see what was left and grab some really good discounts. So right now, if you're watching at least fairly close to today's date, October 14th, 2017, now's the best time to run out to the craft stores and get really great discounts on what's left. There's not much, but I was able to scrape together all of this stuff right here. This mostly is Michael's. The ribbons I've had before, but most of these, actually all of these here, this is all Michael's. And then if you can see here, these pumpkins and these little flowers here, these were at Joann's the other day, and that was 70% off. So I was able to grab a lot of good stuff, and I wanted to make the real popular theme this year seems to be turquoise and oranges. So I've fallen in love with it. But this isn't your bright turquoise. This is kind of like a muted slate blue turquoise kind of added together. It's really, really pretty. And I was able to just kind of scrape all this stuff up. And then I just wanted to see what I could do. See what I could kind of play around with and make. And I haven't done a grapevine wreath that on this channel yet. So I wanted to just play around and see what I could do. And if you guys want to join, chat, and have questions, then let's do it, and we'll see what we create together. I also wanted to thank all of my YouTube subscribers. My YouTube channel has blown up for me in the last, the last couple months. I only started doing this back in May. I decided I wanted to do what makes me happy, and I wanted to share it with everyone. And Facebook Lives, and then posting the Facebook Lives after they've completed onto a YouTube channel gets you a whole nother audience that a lot of people don't use YouTube or Facebook. So I was doing my Facebook Lives, putting them on YouTube, sorry. And then the YouTube support that I've received is amazing. Everybody is extremely kind and complimentary, and I appreciate every single one of you. A lot of you on Facebook as well. I appreciate all of you as well. And it feels really good to know that you guys like what I'm doing, and it feels good to know that I have helped a lot of people too. I've received tons of help from other crafters and other people that I've watched on YouTube and their Facebook Lives and seen their posts and their helpful hints and support. So it's only natural for me to want to give that back, and it feels really great to be able to do that for other people. So everybody, just want to say a humongous thank you, and I'm going to continue doing it, because for now I'm just doing what makes me happy, and right now I love all this and I like all you, so we're going to continue to do that. I'm going to get my Facebook page up here on my tablet, and I'm going to place it over here, so hopefully once you guys start coming in and chatting with me a little bit from Facebook, I'm going to be able to take a peek at it over here while I'm working and see if you guys have any questions or comments, those types of things. And I'll get started and show you guys where we're all going to start. So far I have Amber. Hi Amber, nice to see you. I'm glad to have you with me today. And so far, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump right in. So if you guys have questions, just throw them out there. Got your average grapevine wreath. This is your $5 everyday wreath from, I got this one at Hobby Lobby, but you can get them at Michael's and Joann's too. Actually, I don't know if Joann's has bear. I don't get them that often. I don't shop that much at Joann's unless there's a crazy good sale. But I know these are staples at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby sells them for $4.99. If they're not on sale, then you can use your 40% off coupon on your app and buy them one at a time if you have to. But this is really inexpensive. I believe this guy didn't have a tag on it. So let me grab another one. They are $4.99, 18-inch. These are 18-inch grapevine wreaths. And then here's your Hobby Lobby tag so you guys can see. It's probably backwards because that's what lovely Facebook Live does. $4.99 floral and 18-inch grapevine wreath. So that's what you'd look for if you want to go get them. You can get them much bigger. You can get them smaller. This is your standard size. Most grapevine wreaths are made with this size. I've got some fairly large signs that I bought that I'm going to have to put on the bigger ones. And I don't know if it goes 20 or 22 for the next step up. So I'll be making one of those. That one I'm going to use, I have to use a bigger one. I'm going to put this guy on it. Look how cute that is. I got these from the Wild Whimsy Wood Decor. They're hand painted by an artist. She's in Texas. And that's the one, if you can see here, it's just way too big for an 18-inch wreath. It's basically the size of the wreath. So I'm going to put it on a much larger one and decorate that one too. But I couldn't pass up the crazy leopard with the turquoise in it. It's just off and quirky and not your average fall, and I'm not your average crafter. So I had to get this guy, but you can see how big it is. That one I'll do fairly shortly, and it will also be on a larger grapevine base. So this one here, while I was at Joann's, I'm going to put this back here real quick. While I was at Joann's, let's see, Jennifer Harris, hi, thanks for joining me from Washington State. Appreciate you being here. I found this guy for 70% off. These are at Joann's right now. They had another leaf too that was shaped differently. I don't really know the names of these leaves because I live in Las Vegas and we don't really have leaves on trees that often. So this guy here was supposed to be original $14.99. I got him for $4.49. So crazy good deal. I'm gonna see how this looks. I want to put this on the inside of the wreath and then place all these goodies around. This year, it's like a really pretty slate blue, almost minty green, but not really. This still falls in the turquoise family. And I put up one of my photo lights to see if I could get better lighting in here. So I'm not sure if my ceiling fan's throwing kind of like an orange or a yellow on it. But once I'm completed today, like normal, after my Facebook Lives, I'll take some pictures on a white door so you guys can really see the coloring of how these turquoise, it's basically very turquoise. The leaves are green, but it's like almost like a light slate blue. They put in here that, the description says chalk from Joann's, this guy. I'm calling this like a chalk blue here. These were crazy inexpensive. Regular $1.99, I got them for 89 cents. 79 cents. I got them for 79 cents each. So the Joann's by my house, I cleared these out. They only had 5 left. But all of their fall stuff. So if you guys need garlands or you need any other kind of stuff that normally is really expensive, because I personally don't like to buy the garlands when they first come out. They're way too expensive, even with a coupon for 20% off. I don't like spending the $20 for one 6-foot garland because you normally will end up needing 4 or 5 of them. If for my fall tree, I'm going to do a time lapse for all you guys to see. I won't be able to do it on Facebook, but I will post it to my YouTube and then put the YouTube link on my Facebook page. But I'm going to do a time lapse this year of me putting up my fall, my harvest tree, as I call it, for fall. And you guys are going to see, I think I have either 8 or 9 fall garlands that go in the tree just to use as spacing. It's a 9-foot tree, but they're not all connected. If I actually wanted to connect it around and swirl it, I would probably need 15 garland. And when they're $20 each, that's just not going to happen in my opinion. But right now, while I was at Michael's on Thursday, just 2 days ago, and then Joann's yesterday, they had a large amount of garlands and they were all 60-70% off. So it's a great time to go. And I'm all about a deal. I've got lots of different ideas. I'm going to put some ivory berries in it. I've got some ivory flowers here. And just more turquoise. And then I got this at Joann's also. This is a really pretty, it's got a little bit of gold in it, which I thought would be great because the leaf is gold. It's a really shinier, prettier type of orange ribbon. And then these are the guys I showed you guys before. I got these at Sam's Club this year. So these are considered Christmas, but remember I said, if you find something that doesn't actually have Christmas trees or gingerbread or Santa on it, you can use it for anything you want. So like this, I'm going to be using these colors for my fall wreath. They're going to work out perfectly. I've got some ones that I picked up from Sam's Club that are Christmas themed, or they're Christmas, you know, it says it's, you know, actually it doesn't even say Christmas on the outside of this, does it? Yeah, it does. Premium ribbon, there's a Christmas tree on it. I'm using it for the Halloween, I've used it in a Halloween arrangement, so this is where it comes in handy where, oh yeah, I bought a lot of Christmas ribbon, but I'm going to be able to use this in April or May. I'm going to be able to use this for Valentine's Day. You know, golden cream is pretty universal. So there's that. This guy I did not get. I got this guy at, this is a Hobby Lobby. Everybody knows these Hobby Lobby tags. This is a Hobby Lobby guy. And he's such a pretty bright, I dug it out of my supply. It's just a big bright orange that I may just pop that in there somewhere off to the side if I wanted to just give it a little color. Plus the size is larger than the other ones. These guys I got at Joann's. They're really tiny. Also 79 cents on clearance. They're that dark slate. So they're, I mean, nothing is bright turquoise, but they're a darker slate. And then also Joann's had this little bag here. Normally $10. I got it for $3.99. So I'm going after the turquoise that's in here. There's two different colors of turquoise in here that I'm going to put in there in the wreath. And then there's just many other types of greenery that I bought here that I'm going to start placing in the wreath. So what I want to do first is we're going to put the leaf inside the, we're going to attach the leaf to the grapevine first. Let me get this guy off of here. And then I'll make just what I call like a sloppy bow or a lazy bow, if you could say. I'm not going to use any kind of bow maker. I'm just going to kind of make my loops in my hand, and those are always a hit and miss. They never turn out the same. So if you make multiple bows, nothing's going to be identical. That's why I call them sloppy bows or lazy bows, because you're just holding it in your hand and then you're twisting it together with a pipe cleaner. And even if it's really elegant ribbon, you kind of have a sloppy look. So I like to mix like farmhouse with shabby chic, or with, you know, elegance. I don't know what you call it. I just know that if it's pretty and I like it, I use it. So what I'm going to do here is, this guy, actually once you get him off the board, he kind of loses his, he's all see, you know what I'm saying? He loses his presence. So I'm not sure if this is going to work out in the wreath or not, but this is where you get your, test it out. If it doesn't work, take it out. I also picked this wreath because this one looked like nobody had given him any love for a while. He's got pieces hanging off here. He's got broken things. It's just, I like it. It looks like it's been stepped on probably. It's been through a little bit, but I also like the really big pieces here twisted on the outside. I like those pieces, and I don't usually like to cover them up too much. If I'm doing something where I'm going to cover the whole grapevine, like the guy right here behind me, that whole entire thing, there's a grapevine behind there, but it's completely covered. So that's the kind that you buy, in my opinion. How I do it is I search for the ones that I don't necessarily care what they look like, or they don't really have the really big pieces that are holding it all together. They don't have any kind of interest or quirkiness. So those are the kind that I use when I cover them all up like this. This one, I don't know if I'm going to or not. My intention is to not cover it completely. I do like to see some of the darker grapevine. I'm just placing this here because I'm not sure. I thought that it would be a little bit bigger on here, but it appears to me that it might actually have to go possibly down on one side. But my issue here is you're not going to really, like, all this empty space right here, I don't know if you're going to lose what it actually is once you get it on a door. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? I don't know if I want to. I mean, I can wire it in, but once I make my bow and I place my bow, I'll start putting in the flowers. And then once we put the flowers in, taking it out would kind of mean starting over. But if I don't glue anything, I could do it. I don't know. My idea, I think I should just probably go with it and see how it turns out. Let's see. So I've got floral wire, and this is green floral wire. I've had this for ages, but you can get it anywhere. This is 22 gauge. It says 1/4 pound, 1/4 pound. 22 gauge quarter-pound green. It's green wire. It's not going to show as far as, you know, you're only using one little small piece, if you guys see here. It's just your average wire, but it's also thicker. The only other wire I have is, it's too thin. It's silver, or it's silver, but let's see, what does Amber say? You can see through it, so it should be fine. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put it in. Yeah. Thanks, Amber. We'll, I needed that. Let's see. See, this is 26 gauge. This is too thin. It's not going to hold it. This guy's not crazy heavy, but this is too thin a wire. So I'm just going to use this green one, and you guys will see at the end. You're not going to see it. It's not going to be like using a hot pink pipe cleaner or anything like that. So let's just try and see. Do I want it on this side? No, that's the back of it. So let me put... I need to wire it in a few places. Okay, so I'm going to take the wire and kind of put it through these holes that already exist in here. I'm just going to twist it once on the back. And then with the Grapevine, it's just hit and miss. Find some openings and push the wire through it, and then pull it through the back and see where it lies. With Grapevine, it's going to argue with you no matter what. So just find your spot. And for now, I'm not worried about placement. I'm just going to twist this a few times around. And I'm not going to cut that off just yet in case I need to move it. And then start over again just to secure it enough so it doesn't slide anywhere. And then when you're done, you know you have it in a place that you like it. That's when you can, you know, twist it more, tie them down, weave them in and out the back, find your different places of where you want to place things, and find its, you know, if it's in its permanent home and you're happy with it, go ahead and just twist till your heart's content. And then once I get this on, I'm going to put one more wire on it so it'll be held in 3 places. I'll give you guys a close-up up to the camera so you can see just how thin and minute that wire is. You can't see that wire, so it'll be, it won't be crazy easy. And see, like, what I'm doing here is I stuck them through together so they went through the exact same space. So there's nothing for me to twist it to. So I'm just kind of pushing it down and pulling it back up another side. So it's like kind of like basket weaving 101, but with wire. So let's see, who else do we have here today? Another person came in. Gladys, hi. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate you being here. It's nice to have you guys to chat with. Usually my live streams, I don't really ever have anybody. This is maybe a couple people that go in and out. So this is actually quite fun. Okay, there's 2. I don't even remember where I put it. There's one here. Oh, and one here. Okay, so my other one I'm going to put up here. And then I'll show you guys how, you can't really see it, because even now I lost it and I didn't know where I put it. Let's see. Put this one right through the top. And also, this would be really difficult to try to do after you've already secured, you know, ribbon and a bow on it. And it would probably be much more difficult to see through, you know, all the pieces you've already attached to it and find out exactly what's going to argue with me, huh? This is what I was meaning with Grapevine. It's just one of those things where it will or it won't. But, I mean, imagine if I had everything already in here. That's what I say. Usually, some of the other places and other people I've watched, like Julie Samaka with Southern Charm Reefs, or Nick Criticos with Nick's Seasonal Decor, Damon Oates, all of them, they put their signs on first. And it's for good reason. So, I follow suit. There we go. So there's that guy. I'm just going to twist this on. All right, now let me get this up close. You see, let me check it. It's not moving. It has this little ring up here for hanging. I might, yeah, there we go. I'll just stick it in there. I don't really want to hear loose pieces in your wreath. Okay, there we go. So I'll show you guys right here, right above my fingernail right there. It's so minute. That's where the first wire is, and I'm not even sure if you can even see that right there because it's green. And then, hold on, I lost the other one. Here's the other guy right here. See how, I mean, it almost looks like part of this. I mean, it's not gold, it's green. And then, of course, we're going to be adding more stuff to it. And then the other one's right up here under the top. You can't tell that that wire is there, so no worries on the concern of, oh, I had to use dark green wire, I had to use silver wire. Half the time, it's not going to show because you're going to put something on it. You're either going to put ribbon on it, or you're going to put some bows, or, oh, which was ribbon, sorry, or some flowers or a pumpkin, and you're not going to see it. So it's all going to be changed or covered in the long run. So for now, I've got the wreath, the leaf on the wreath. That's a mouthful, right? Say that 5 times. And I'm going to make my loose sloppy bow or lazy bow or whatever sounds good to you. Just going to put this guy back here for a minute, let him sit back, and I'm going to open all these guys. Now this, remember I said before, this is my Sam's Club ribbon. I have not used it yet, so this is a brand new roll. I've used other rolls I bought from Sam's Club, just not this particular one, or this one. And so far, this is my first year buying from Sam's Club, the ribbon, and it's really good quality. I've bought from Costco before, multiple times for a very, very long time. Growing up, my mom, we always had Costco cards, so when I think Costco hasn't been around that long. I mean, I'm older than you guys probably think, but we had Costco when I was a teenager, and I was buying the ribbon then. So that's a long time. So you're thinking like in the mid to late 90s. I was buying the ribbon at Costco, and some of it was okay quality, some of it was really nice, but so far this Sam's ribbon I've never bought before, but when I was listening and hearing the craze, everybody was talking about how the Sam's ribbon is you know, their selection is really, really good, and this year Costco's selection was not good. I was very disappointed in it. They normally have lots and lots of ribbon, just pallets of it, and when I went to Costco this year, they had absolutely none. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I actually cut that incorrectly. I cut it. I'll tell on myself. It's fine. Everybody does it. I cut the dovetail wrong. See, this should be on the piece that's still connected, not this one. So I had a diamond pattern. So it's okay. I fixed it. It's all right. Normally you don't do that. Some people don't do that till the end. I like to do it at the beginning just because at least I know I've got one edge that's already cut, and then I only got to look for one more. Let me save that too. So, all right. So I'm going to start with. I'm going to grab this. For my bows, I like to use pipe cleaners. So for this, I've got one solid pipe cleaner, complementary color. This is beige. And I'm going to start with my biggest ribbon. And I'm not sure, you guys have probably seen this before, but what's nothing if repetitive is helpful? Yeah. So I'm going to start with however long I feel my tail wants to be. If I make this super, super long, I can always cut it. If I make it shorter, then I know the other side I want to make longer. Everything depends on exactly how the bow looks after you've already made it or once you put it on your wreath. So sometimes I will leave them connected to the spools after they're already on the project if I want to gauge how long it is. If it's an inexpensive ribbon, such as these, I mean, when you do the math on these, it ends up being, I think I wrote it on here, it ends up being 6 cents a foot. So, I mean, if you want to break it down to how much you're spending, you can cut a little bit extra off, and then I save most of my remnants on everything anyway, so I don't ever throw anything away. You can always use those pieces for all kinds of other little projects. All I did was pinch here in the middle. I grabbed it, I brought it back to my fingers again on the back, pinched it, and I twisted it so that the front is facing me again. So if you're looking at the ribbon, you have the front side facing. Pinch it, make your loop the size you think you need it to be. Bring it to your fingers, pinch it again, and then twist it to bring it back to the front. So you grab it again, and then here you can guesstimate what size loop from the top loop that you've already made here. Do the same thing, pinch it, and then twist it so that the front is facing you guys again. And then for this one, I'm going to make I'm just going to do a little odd. So I'm only going to do 3 loops of the big guy. And then possibly just 2 loops of the other. 4 loops might be a little bit too big. So I just did 3 loops on that. And here's where you grab your second ribbon, so you're still holding all this. And then if you have issues like holding stuff, after a while, I get a handful and my hands get cramped, I use old-fashioned little chip clips. You can actually put that down, so I've got it held in the middle. You can now put it down and work on your second bow. So again, this one is, it's not double-sided if you see here. It technically looks the same, but in my opinion, if you can see this little edge right here, looks different on this side. So to me, this front side, technically for me, I would consider it one-sided, not double-sided. So I'm going to still twist this. You know, the ones that are double-sided that you don't have to twist, much easier for making bows if you guys want to specifically look at that, if it's your first time or if you have issues or problems and you just don't think your bows are turning out. It's much easier to try them out with ribbon that's double-sided, because then you don't have to do any twisting and it doesn't matter. And let's see what you guys are saying. I made the witch's broom. They turned out awesome. I'm so happy to hear that, Autumn. Thanks for the demo. You're more than welcome. That's exactly what I love to hear. Because a lot of times they're so super simple that why not share it with everybody else? I mean, what we're doing is nothing new. It's not something that's supposed to be any kind of secret. I don't want to keep things from people, and I've learned so much from other people. My grandma taught me when I was much, much younger. And then, you know, as your technique improves and you gain more experience and you get older, especially since I'm an 80s child, 1980 to be specific, internet wasn't that prevalent when I was younger. So you had to learn from people you knew. And then as soon as all these wonderful things started happening with YouTube and people doing videos and showing things, and it became so easy to be able to communicate with other people, I've learned infinitely more things than I possibly ever could have, especially if you go to Joann's or Michael's and you take classes and that stuff there, and then you pay for the classes. I've done a few of those too in the past, and sometimes they turn out, sometimes they don't. But on the internet and with different things, you can learn from 5, 6, 7, 8 different people. And every time you do that, it's something different. And what works for me might not work for you, but you could take something that I've done and alter it and change it a little bit and put your own twist on it. And then find out that it was so much easier to begin with, and you're just, I've had that happen with me many times, and I love to hear that you guys are making things. And if you want, I'd love to see pictures. Send them to the Facebook page. Put them on the messenger, private messenger. I'm not sure. Someone had told me earlier in the week they tried to post a picture on one of my posts and they couldn't do it. So I'm going to have to research it and find out why it's like that. It might be a setting that I put in there when I created the page. So I'll have to take a peek at that and see why you guys can't post things to the page. But send me a picture and then I'll put it on the page later. I'd love to see the things you guys make. Another Facebook subscriber had used. I had my fabric pumpkins that I did some Thanksgiving. I did Thanksgiving also, but Halloween fabric pumpkin video. She made her own twist on it. She had a challenge, a Facebook challenge with another friend or a company or a buddy. I'm not sure exactly who it was, but they had to make shabby chic ones, and I had never even considered doing that portion of it. I had basically just done the fall and the Halloween, and she puts some really cute things, like little rhinestones and buttons in the top, and then the fabric and the lace that she used was extremely cute. It was me, it might be my iPhone. Oh, it could be an iPhone thing, huh? Well, I have an Android, so yeah, I have an old Note, so maybe it was, but I'll look into it and see if I can maybe get one of my friends to test it out. I try to post something to the page just to see. But if you guys ever want to send pictures, I absolutely adore them, and I definitely want to see them. So there's one bow. And then what I'm going to do is, I left this one long, I didn't leave it connected. I just threw all of this together, and I'm going to adjust it once I get it into the wreath. I'll mess with it and pull on the loops and adjust it, because I mean, I'm forever adjusting the bows constantly. And I'm going to be flipping it over to cover things on the back, so it's going to get smushed and it's going to get rearranged and moved around. So it's one of those habits as a crafter, you can't help but not constantly fluff your bows. So what I'll do is I'll put this one on now. I'm going to find that I probably am going to make smaller little pieces that I'm going to, after I put all the floral in, I'll probably just make little smaller pieces that is basically just cutting it, pinching it in the middle, and then having it stick out like little tails, just little pieces, maybe little accents. Not quite sure yet, but I know I just wanted to have one sloppy bow. So for now, it's not finished by any means, but there's just a few loops of these guys that I wanted to place in here. So the large bow itself, now I'm going to be placing florals all over this guy. I'm thinking maybe that mainly this stuff to go, the florals to come this way and have maybe a few here. I think I'll do that. So I'm just going to do your top left on the bow. Hasn't really taken shape just yet, but we'll get there, you guys. We'll get there. This is just the slow part, I guess you could say. This is the part that takes the longest to do. After I start cutting up all the florals, things start really picking up and they start going places. Alright, so what I did here was I twisted my pipe cleaner too much. After I finished the bow, I twisted that. You see that? That's probably about maybe a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to untwist it because it's not going into it's not sitting flush to the wreath like I'd want it to. I want that bow to be really close to the wreath so that I can place flowers around it and I don't have to like really stuff things in there so you can't see the behind the scenes of the wreath. I don't like that. That stuff doesn't really tend to look good. It takes away from the bow. So I know I twisted this many times, and now of course I'm having issues untwisting it. There we go. I'm only going to untwist it till probably, yeah, I'll twist it till right there. This guy is doing a-okay. So I'm not twisting this piece. I'm holding it really tight right here at the base, and I'm twisting the bow part of it. So it's going to take the piece that's wrapped around in the middle and it's going to tighten it from that side. So it's really tight. And then now I've got a much smaller piece here. So it'll look, it'll be up closer to the wreath base like I prefer than previously with that longer piece that I had twisted too much of. It just wouldn't sit wasn't going to sit in there the way I wanted it to. So just like before, you just feed it in, and wherever it comes out at, that's its new home on the back. It's stuck on my shirt. Okay, I'm going to just twist on this guy, and again, I'm not going to cut anything off yet, just in case I need to move something. Later when you start hot gluing stuff, just at that point you can, if you want, flip it over, cut off your wires with your scissors or your wire cutters. And what I do is cover the backs with leaves or different types of things, so you don't really see the behind the scenes or the mechanics of anything. And I just saw some hearts, so thank you guys so much. That was really great. It's the first time. So you guys were my first hearts. So thank you so much. That was cool. And if you hear my dogs, somebody has rung my doorbell. So I got 2 little wiener dogs, and if anybody knows anything about dachshunds, they bark. So next step is we're going to start chopping up some flowers and then just popping them in places and see how they go. I'm going to move this off to the side. Space is a little bit of a commodity. I'm using my new tripod, so you guys are up a little bit higher and different. That way my phone will not fall into my glue pot like it did last time, causing me to have a small heart attack. And we shall see. Okay. These little guys, I like these picks just because they're so easy, but I'm going to put them in probably here and there as we go with the larger ones. So I don't really have a pattern as to which flowers I pick first or how I place things in. I just sort of kind of grab what I like and then I start placing them. So I'm going to just cut off a few of these larger guys here. And these, okay, let me pull these off, because these leaves, these aren't the kind where you can take them and push them up the stem. They're part of the stem, and where I need to cut them is where the leaf is. So I'm just cutting them off with, I mean, how long is that? That's about 4 inches. If it starts to pop out the back, I'll show you guys. If you have too many pieces popping out the back, we'll cut them shorter. But we want to have enough of this to put glue on so that it has a lot to stick to inside the grapevine. So here, I'll show you. This particular bush here, the leaves are stuck on separately. They're not part of the stem. There's ones where you can pull the leaf literally and push it all the way up to the stem to the back of the bud, so you see the leaf sticking out this way. Those are the kind that I like. I will leave them on. And since this is not that way, I'm saving these guys. Because you can leave these as they are, dip them in the glue, and then just stick them in for filler in different places. So never throw your leaves away, because you can also cut these even smaller and use them to cover up your behind the scenes on the back of the wreath, should anything pop out or start to look a little horrible. Now this guy's leaf is up higher, so that's actually good. I'm going to leave it there, and we'll see. Now remember, all of these larger flower bushes I got, everything was from Michael's. They're Michael's, the Michael's over here by me was putting everything fall. I believe was 60% off, and I believe Joann's was 70% off just this past week. So I've got 4 of them here. This bush was a little bit, let me see here. The bigger ones, now see, regular price was $14.99. I did not pay that for it, and I would have to dig. Here, let me show you guys something. This was my Michael's receipt from Thursday. Yeah. I haven't gone through it yet to actually write down what I paid for each one, because it's kind of a lot, which is normally what I do for every single one. I go through, especially when I buy flowers, because artificial florals or where your money goes are expensive no matter what. I did not pay $14.99, but $14.99 for a larger bush is kind of, okay, yeah, I'll buy one and I'll put that in there. But then you can also get these little tiny bushes there too, little less inexpensive, little bit less detail. This is regularly $4.99, which again, on my big receipt, 60% off, and then Michael's was doing an additional 20% off your entire order. So I saved a crazy amount of money on these. I think this is going to end up being like $1.92 or even probably less than that. And these little guys, oh look, these are the guys. These have the pieces that you can just push towards the top, and then you can cut it. So you can't really, I don't know if you can tell here on the back. Now you've got the leaf behind it. So then I will cut that right there. So that's another tip that you can use, is buy some expensive ones if you really like the stems, like individual stems. Those were also really crazy on sale. You can get the more expensive stems and then mix in some of the little smaller inexpensive bushes to accent around and fill in, so you don't feel like you have to buy 17 large expensive bushes, because at that point your wreath is just going to be so over the top expensive that if you're, number one, trying to sell it, it may not happen, or number two, like anybody, you want it to be beautiful, but you know, once you've spent just in supplies a specific amount, it will lose its sparkle just because of how much money you've had to spend on it. So crazy deals, the sales are good. There are certain things I will just immediately buy when I see them because they sell out so quickly, and you may not see them again after a specific amount of time. So I'm not gluing anything in yet. This is just me testing it out and seeing how I like things. I'll pull off and pull them out and replace them or move them, or I will change them up and not put them in at all after a specific amount of time. If I like where it's at, I will just commit and I'll glue it to its spot. But for now, I'm just going to see where these will agree with me at, kind of throw them in there, place them into some other places. I had a long one too. Anything that's really wispy and long, you want to try to put those in first. And this is what I was looking for here. This guy only has 3 stems on him, but he's got these really cool little berries on it. And again, I'm not sure if my lighting's playing tricks on me, but it's got that light slate blue and it has a little bit of a minty green to it. And it looks absolutely beautiful, and I could not help it. So again, $14.99. Let me just dig in here real quick and show you guys. Let me just find, oh no, the Michaels doesn't do it that way. I'm not going to actually look for a UPC and make you guys watch me look for a UPC. That's a little crazy. Okay, so anyhow, sorry, oh, I got 25% off my entire purchase. So on top of all of these crazy sale prices, I got another $49.51 off the total. So those are the times to go. If you have a Michaels app and they say, hey, they're doing the 25% off a sale price and regular price, go down there, do it. Especially if you need any type of artificial floral. That's the best time to do it. That's the best time you're going to get the best deal. Even if they're not on sale, like they're just normal, they're normal sales. I know when they first bring out all of the stuff that you're looking for as far as for whichever holiday it is, that stuff is 40% off or 30% off. But then you got your other extra 20% off. It's the perfect time to go there and get that. And there's been times where I didn't have a choice. If I had an order or I had a specific thing I needed to make and I just had to have it, there's always those times where you have to make something that's just a little bit different and you need something gray or you need a flower color that's not in season. You're just going to have to bite the bullet and find it. But usually at some point Michaels will have some sort of sale that you can utilize. And with the extra 20% off or 25% off, that one was really exciting the other day. So these are stuck together. This one's kind of long. I think I'm going to leave it that way, in these little berries here. And I'm going to have it come down off this side. I know this kind of looks like a lot of chaos right here. And in fact, you know what? I have this over here. Let me move this out of the way. There, I can see more of what you guys can see. I'll use my new tripod and push that down more. Hopefully that's good that you guys can see what I'm doing over here. So I'm going to take this guy and just kind of nestle him sort of behind the bow here. Get him to come out some. I like how he sticks out. I don't want him to curl with the wreath. I kind of want him to stick out some. So he's doing that. He's got the shape of the wreath on him, but it's not crazy like it's going anywhere. So I'm leaving it like that, and actually I'm really in love with that. I should possibly just glue that in. And then one of these I'm going to break up. Yeah, this one's got a longer stem on it. Actually, these look identical. This one's bigger. This one has bigger leaf bushes at the top. I want to leave that one whole. This one is smaller, so I'm actually going to rip this, or not rip it, I'm going to cut this one into smaller pieces. So now I can use this piece individually. And put that over here. I don't want to put too much coming off of this side of the wreath because I don't want to cover too much of the actual metal accent leaf in here. So I'm just kind of popping things in left and right. And then again, I haven't really adjusted that bow too much. Because we're going to be placing stuff all around this bow, kind of having things cascade more on the left than the right. But I'm not going to mess with the bow too much as far as continuing to work things through it. So I got that piece there, and I put the other small piece. Okay, so this is the bigger one. I'm going to pull this guy back out. I'm going to cut him into two pieces. So since I have one piece here, but I want them to be two smaller pieces. It's always easier, it's best to cut things right before a small branch off. So what I'm doing is, right where this guy comes off and he's attached, I'm going to cut that one there. If it lets me, excuse me. Okay, that one. So here I've cut it, and it looks like a pick. You don't have a longer stick coming out. It kind of looks like something that would be popping out of a bush here like that. And then since I cut it off at that end, I have another pick off of that one. So what used to be one long stem has now turned into two picks. And that has saved and will save you a lot more time and energy, especially since I don't want anything that big on this side, but I definitely still want some more. I want something more on this side, just a little bit. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to put anything here. I also might be able to, let me think. I've never done this before, but let me see real quick, just test it out. If I put this on the back, kind of feed it through. No, I don't like that. I'm not going to do that. I was thinking to see on the see-through part of the leaf here, on the decorative, I don't know, is this a maple leaf, you guys? What is this? This metal wire wreath that we have here. Wire leaf, not wreath, the leaf. I thought if I put some stuff behind it, it wouldn't disappear so much. But it doesn't seem to be doing it here for you guys on live. It seems to be looking pretty good. So I should probably just stop concerning myself with that. I know I want to use all of this, so I'm thinking I'm going to have to cut this too. I got three pieces branching off. I'm just going to turn it into 3 picks. And we shall see. Also, when you're buying this many flowers, there's no way I'm using all of that. I got 2 bushes of everything just because of, number one, how inexpensive the sale was. It was a really good deal, and you're going to have leftovers. And then also, if you're selling any of these, if you're making these for a business that you have, a crafty business, you're going to possibly get people requesting duplicates. Now, I always like to say I can never duplicate something 100%, but I will try my best to get it as close as possible to the original that you like. If you've already bought just a tiny bit more than what you needed, you can at least duplicate it possibly 100% one more time. I have more than enough ribbon, obviously, but if I have a couple more flowers, like now this, I may not use all of them, but I'm not going to have enough to do a whole nother wreath. That's just, sometimes that's just the breaks. But I'm trying to see which one has the pretty part of the berries on it. Place these in here. That's all I'm doing is I'm just placing things in here and getting the bigger pieces somewhere. So I have 2 pieces here. I'll put them off to the side. I might come back to them. I might use them more. And then next in line is, so far, I like how this piece sticks out here. Let's see, so far, I like it. I want to put, let's see. Thank you, Gladys. I appreciate that. She says it looks pretty. These were my favorite. There's just something about, I don't know, is that like a daisy? I don't know, there's something about just a tiny little flower with a dark center, or even just a white flower which is a bright, like the white ones have a dark center also, but these are more, well, these are more ivory. They're kind of like a cream color. They're more cream or yellow in the middle. But there's something about these, they just are so cute. They just made me happy, so I bought 2 bushes of them. And then there were these little turquoise guys in here too. And then these are only for accent. I didn't want to put a crazy amount of white or cream in anything, so I only bought those for accent. So for this one, this is where I was telling you before. These are the ones that have the leaves on it that you can take off the stem. Okay, push that towards the top of the bloom, and then cut it off from the bush, and here you have your leaf on the back. And on sometimes, like see here, this one's folded in half. Sometimes, depending on the leaf, this is a bigger flower, but you can't really see too much. The leaves will stick out on each side of the flower, and you'll be able to see them. So a lot of times, don't just throw them away or leave them on the stem. Some things I'll save. Well, like earlier, these guys I saved, but it also helps for filler. If you have a lot of empty spaces and you don't want to have holes in your wreath, just leave those greenery pieces on. They all don't have to be the same color. You'll find in time that all kinds of greens mesh together. I mean, I could go and grab some of my spring flowers and put them in here, and you guys will see that a pop of bright green in all of this dark slate blue and a little bit of minty green isn't going to look bad. It really won't. I've done lots of other crazy things that I thought would not look good, that I thought would be just horrible. And, you know, a lot of it's watching other people too. I've watched other people experiment, and I thought, you know, well, that looks really great, so why not try it myself? And that's also from watching videos, and of course Pinterest is a big one. People have all kinds of crazy ideas, and then once you see someone else has tried it, then you realize, you know, that idea I had last week isn't so crazy. I'm going to place that crazy green in there, and everyone's going to love it. So here, I'm just pushing things in left and right, seeing how well they're working together. And I think I'm going to have to start gluing stuff in pretty shortly. I'm really liking most of my placement. But you know what I want to do? I need to find a spot for that pumpkin first. I don't want it, I really want the pumpkin in there. I don't think it'll be too much. I think it'll be right. I mean, it's a pretty big pumpkin. It's a pretty big guy. I just want to see if maybe I can get it to sit over here, or will it look ridiculous? No, I think it looks pretty good. So this guy's got a really big stem on him, so I'm just shoving him in between 2 really big pieces there. I kind of like that big pop of orange on there, but I'm not sure if it looks ridiculous next to this big wreath here, because I got these other little guys too. So I'll have these kind of put in there with some more flowers coming around them. What do you guys think? White flower there. Or should I take the leaf off of it and just do the florals with the pumpkins and the gourds? Because remember, I got this bag of gourds. I want to put some of these gourds on too. I'm not sure what I want to do. What do you guys think? I need some help. Got no more water? Gladys. I like the pumpkins too, but that's because I'm pumpkin obsessed. So I'm thinking if I take the leaf off, What do you guys think? I'm probably gonna take this leaf off. And I can put this in a swag, actually. This would look really pretty in a swag. Maybe save the leaf for another project. Okay, good. So I got okay, good. Yeah, I agree with you guys. So I got 2 helpful hints there, and we're all on the same page. I like the pumpkins as well. I'm going to take the leaf off. Good idea. This is where I'm glad I didn't glue anything in yet. Although I'm happy with my flower placement, I didn't actually commit to the wire here. And also you'll see how easy it is to change your mind and start over. So yeah. This also might be something that would look good in like a deco mesh wreath. Something that it can sit on top of something fluffy. Or even burlap, a bright burlap color wreath. I might do that too. So save the leaf for another project. Perfect. Nice. Okay, and let's see, Nancy. I love the orange pumpkin. Good, I'm glad. Okay, good. We're all on the same page. I got you guys' support, so I'm not going to be in trouble, right? There we go. So I say, no mistakes. Now this guy is perfectly okay for anything else. And I think I have a smaller swag. I can actually put it upside down on a swag, and it'll hang on the door with a teardrop. I bought two teardrop swags. So actually that's a really good idea. I'm going to do that. You guys will probably see pictures of that pretty soon. So thank you guys for your help, and let's start adding some more pumpkins and flowers, because Lord knows I have enough flowers to get this thing looking really good. I'm going to leave this guy here. See how much further I can get him down in there. And then I can make some more stuff coming out this way, coming out off to this side. And since my bow, I still have my bow kind of off center here, fill it in here and have just a little bit more come here. So I can leave possibly these 2 pieces showing with these pieces here with the really pretty binding vines that are really, really, really gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is cut off the rest of my big flowers here. And now I'm looking here, those pumpkins and gourds that I have in the other little bag, they don't have sticks or stems or picks in them, but that's super easy to add them, and I'll show you guys how I do it. This is why I save a lot of different stems from larger flowers. And then also another great idea I had a long time ago was chopsticks. You can buy wooden skewers, but sometimes, depending on how many you need, like I'm going to save this because there's way too many leaves on there to throw away. Depending on how many there are in a bag, because if you're buying them to cook something, you're going to need them in the kitchen. But how many people get Chinese takeout and you get maybe 7 or 8 of these in your bag, and you don't use them all, or you don't use chopsticks at all? Depends on if you're able to or not. I save these, cut them up, and I use them as picks because, you know, they're free and I don't like throwing them away. So I'll be doing that on the bottom of those guys because they don't have anything in them to stick into the wreath. I've done that before for some other centerpieces I've made. You find that the piece is perfect, but it doesn't have a stem on it, so you have to make it work. And I forgot to take my Hobby Lobby tag out of this because I was just testing it out. So let's see how this works, because Hobby Lobby tags don't like to come off easy, or in this case at all. So hold on real quick. Let me check your comments. Let's see. Okay, Gladys loves the color combination. Good, I do too. Have you noticed that turquoise was like crazy this year? I saw a lot of it in magazines and a lot online, obviously, a lot of different pages I follow on Facebook. Turquoise has turned out like crazy big, but this was just a little bit different because it's got the darker turquoise in it and a lot of slate blues. And then I saw, when I'm putting all this together, you know, I kind of have everything piled up on the cart in the store, and I'm looking at the colors together. It looked almost like it had a little bit of mint green in it, and I really liked that too, so I threw that in there. And let's see, what's my next question here, Nancy? Are you going to put any orange flowers or leaves in the wreath? Here's this is the best part. I was thinking about maybe putting a few of these in. You see how bright and pretty they are? I might just take a few little pieces, maybe not bigger than this, and just have that poking out here and there. Just to accent with the pumpkin and then this ribbon here. I didn't want it all to be too monotone because, you know, you can get too much of a good thing. So yeah, I was definitely going to do that. I'm still interested in adding more orange to it. So I was saying, see, we got a lot of this good color here, but this is the piece that falls off in the cart or in the bag. If I just take this, kind of tuck it in here, just like that, you get just a tiny little pop right there of orange. So yes, I'm definitely going to be adding some of that in there. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do here is I like what I've got so far. So I'm going to just slowly, one by one, I've got my glue pot down here. So my phone is nowhere near falling into it this time. Got my glue pot and my glue gun here. For florals on wreaths like this, my glue pot has been a lifesaver. So taking the end of my stem and just dousing it in glue, about that much glue, and then I'm placing it right back in where I had it originally. Is time saving. Now, I mean, I'm not saying like I'm in a huge production line of wreaths or anything, but to hold the glue gun and squirt a little bit of glue on the end. I mean, I've had some pretty bad run-ins with my glue guns before. My husband can attest to that. There was some instances where I was going to be taken to the emergency room just because I had glued my hand pretty bad at one point on an Easter wreath. For my own fault, I was holding an item and gluing into my hand. I mean, really? That's, you know, I win a Darwin Award for that. It was really, really not a good idea. So, of course, I don't do that anymore. But this glue pot has been so convenient, so much more easier to use. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things you can't do because you can't just put your glue inside of... there's some things that you just can't put into the glue pot. For instance, like on the bottom of the fabric pumpkins I made, I glue on a piece of felt. There's no way I'm dipping a piece of felt in here and putting it on there or putting the bottom of the pumpkin in there. So at that point, yeah, you need your glue gun. So I've not gotten rid of it, but it has been a complete lifesaver in the form of not burning myself so much. I've also got a lot of good suggestions on YouTube. A lot of people had put in the comments ideas. One lady had mentioned to use a rubber scraper, like a little rubber scraper from the dollar store, kind of like that belongs in the kitchen. And that's really good for moving things around. And also the little rubber finger protectors that you use when you count money. Those are really good to save you from burns. And I worked in banking for 11 years previously, and I had a lot of those little finger protectors, and that sounded like a really great idea. Another subscriber had mentioned to just keep a small bowl of ice nearby if it's something that you needed to do. Oh, and toothpaste. Apparently toothpaste immediately takes out a burn. I didn't know that. Any of you guys all know that? Love those. Okay, good. Nancy likes the orange leaves. Perfect. And yes, Amber, it was really... it's my own fault. You know, you do something stupid and then you think, really? You kind of deserve that, Whitney. So, can't be too angry when... But I did not know toothpaste is one of those things that I guess cuts back the burns. I mean, that was really, really cool. So I'm assuming it's the paste kind and not the gel. I know there's other uses for actual toothpaste and not the gel, but... I'm going to leave that on there. I like that little extra quirky part. Alright, that's all glued in. What fell off? Okay, so my green leaf here fell off. I'm trying to see where it went. Alright, so the piece that it was connected to on the stem is actually too far deep into the grapevine. So I'm just taking the bottom of that and I'm gluing it, putting glue in the pot. So I have glue on the end of it. And I'm going to stuff it down here into the wreath. So if you guys can see here, oh, I don't know if you can tell. I literally just stuffed it under, nope, I'm not going to be able to show you because there's too much going on in here. I just put it underneath this piece right here. So I was holding it by its leaves, and then I glued it right back underneath there. Because I liked the way the leaves look when they're poking out. So that's why I said there's nothing is too permanent. I also really haven't figured out a pattern of, do I want to work with one whole flower at a time, or do I want to just keep placing things individually? So far for me, let me put this guy down here like this, or no, I think I want to stick him more sitting straight up. Yeah, what do you think about that? I like him right here at the base. So my bow's here and he's here. I'm going to keep doing that. Completely forgot what I was saying, guys. Sorry. Lost my train of thought. I got distracted by the pumpkin. I'm pretty sure it's allowed, right? Oh, working with the flowers. I don't really know if there's a pattern that I've developed or anything like that of working with just all one flower first or second. I kind of just like to place things along. I might work on one whole side than the other just because you can see how things go along when you're adding your smaller pieces and your smaller flowers first. Or I think that's pretty much how I've done things. I know there are some other artists out there and crafters that will just do one flower at a time, and a lot of their pieces turn out gorgeous. I don't know if it's my creativeness just has me pull one thing at a time. I can't do it because I want to see if the idea I have in my head, you know, it involves all of the flowers. I just want to make sure that they all look good together, and then what I'm actually thinking is something that's possible, because then, just like the leaf, if it doesn't work out, I can take it out and it's not the end of that project. You know what I mean? It ends up being... I'm also keeping track of where I'm pulling these out of. So if you have a piece here and you're watching where you pull it out of and what part of the wreath, so you can place it back in there after you put the glue on it. A lot of times I've added glue to things and then I can't get it back into its original spot because, number one, I either wasn't paying attention, or number two, I've put too much glue on it and it's too bulky now. So I'm just taking note of where I've put these things in originally so I can place them back into their original spots. That's why a lot of times, I know I haven't yet ever done an entire wreath and then glued it all. I know I've just done pieces and portions of it, because there's parts where you immediately start to fall in love with it. Okay, I'm not even going to have to, let me see here. Oh, he looks good there. I'm not going to have to cut the bottom of this pick at all. I'm going to show you guys real quick. I'm just going to glue the bottom of it so that when I place it back in, the glue gets pushed all the way up the stick to the top. So I put a big glob on it there, and I'm putting it right back where I had it. All that glue gets pushed up onto the stick by the pieces I'm pushing it through of the wreath. And then just to secure it a little bit more, I'm going to turn it around on the back, and I'm just going to put more glue here at the base where it's basically sitting on the grapevine pieces of the wreath. And I'll show you the back here. That stick, the bottom piece of it, you can see coming through here a little bit. I'm going to cover that up when we're done with leaves. But I just placed more glue with my glue gun right here at the base where I popped it through the whole piece there. So now that guy sits straight up in the front of your wreath. And Hobby Lobby does really good sturdy picks. Their picks aren't, they're not messing around with it. This particular guy is, actually I'm going to twist him a little bit while it's still wet. I like the stem to kind of go the opposite way. Their picks are pretty good. You don't have to, and even if I tried to cut that thing, it would have been one of the times where your hands start shaking a little bit because it's pretty strong. So what's next? I'm just going to keep placing more and more flowers. Periodically I'm going to place these guys in there. And then I bought these berries, guys, but I don't know if I'm going to put them in or not. These have a little bit of they're more beige, and they're kind of have I don't know if you can tell, they have like a really glossy type look to the berry. But let me show you this. I'm definitely going to use these little pick guys because I liked the color in all of it. These berries here don't, and these are the ones I kind of don't like because these are the styrofoam ones that you see all over the floor, or that you eventually find in your house or your car or your purse, and you don't know how it got there because it's smushed and you can see the white styrofoam. But anyways, let me tell you how I really feel, right? These aren't glossy. I don't know if I want to... I want to leave them in because they add substance to this whole pick piece. They look really pretty, and they're closer to that turquoisey green, so I'm going to leave them in. But the other guys I'm not sure if I'm going to use or not, because I still am definitely using these orange leaves. These orange leaves are very, very pretty. So I'm just going to still leave the tag on this here. I'm going to pop this guy down here and see, just see how this looks with all these leaves in here. Because it adds just a tiny bit. See, here's where I put them. Got a little bit of the berries here coming down. I'm just going to try and cover up that tag a little bit, see what we can do. I like the flower. I'm gonna leave those in. I'm just gonna have to be really careful with them so that the styrofoam doesn't get smushed. Does anybody else have that issue? These little berry things, if you guys know what I'm talking about, the styrofoam, they're so fragile. If you barely bump them, number one, they'll either fall off, or number two, they'll get crushed. And then actually, I bought one like that. I have to cut off. I'll show you. They get crushed, and then you see the white styrofoam underneath. Here's a good example. This piece right there. I'm going to have to either put something over top of that, or if I try to pull them off, it's going to pull off the color off of everything surrounding it. So it could get really, really bad really quick. So I had planned to probably just glue a leaf over it. There's always easy ways to conceal them, but that's the main problem with these kinds of berries that I was talking about. I still bought them, because again, this was only 79 cents. Originally $1.99. And actually $1.99 is not bad. If I'd bought these when they first came out, I probably could have got more than 5. I was only able to get 5 because that's all they had at Joann's. So, where did I put the one? Did I took it back out? Yeah, I did. Okay. So, I also liked that it had 2 other kinds of leaves on it. Some of these times, if you have problems, if you don't think you can pick things out properly, or if you don't feel like you can make an arrangement, these little picks are lifesavers because some of the work's already done for you. It already has a variety of items, and you don't have to do most of that work. You don't have to buy a separate berry, separate leaves. Some of them in stores aren't that pretty. This one looked perfect when I saw it, and I didn't have any of my supplies with me. I bought all this at Michael's, so I was just taking a chance that these were going to look good when I bought them. So I'm very happy that worked out, and I did not glue that one in. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to put this one in first. Yeah, I'm going to put that one in first. Okay, this is a thicker stem. There we go. Move that all around, and then I'll put this one here next to it. Taking a chance because I didn't see if I had a spot for it, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'll be good. Yep, there we go. And sometimes you're not, I mean, it's going to look like it's a little bit cluttered here and there, but that's what these inexpensive pieces are for. They're background. Don't think that you can't cover something up, because a lot of times layers is what makes things look really beautiful. You see a piece that's really, really full, and sometimes you don't realize just exactly how much has been put into it because there's so many layers that you can't see. So I had that in the beginning. I used to place things literally just right next to each other so that you could see everything that was in the wreath. And a lot of times, some of the best parts of a really full, pretty leaf is the depth. Every angle you look at it, you're going to see something different. So if you come home from work and you see the wreath on your front door and you're coming up to it, got your hands full, and you drop something, and then you go and you pick something up, and you're looking at your wreath at a different angle, you're like, oh, you know, that looks really pretty. That's the best part. That's why I like making wreaths. They make me happy. You have like a particularly stressful day. You have a hard day at work. You come home and then you get to see something that you made or that you purchased. You don't have, if you're not able to make them, then that's what everyone else is for. That's why God gives us these gifts to share. It will possibly just brighten your day. I know that I always have a wreath on my pantry door in my kitchen. And it might be weird to say, but there are times I just go out there and I don't want to be in my kitchen. I don't want to cook. I don't want to do the dishes. And the atmosphere changes because I can look at the wreath while I'm out there. I always have a wreath on my pantry door. It's always holiday specific. And if it's not a holiday, then it's kind of like a farmhouse feel. I really like the farmhouse look. My kitchen's turning into very, very farmhouse. And I did buy another picture from another artist in South Carolina, yes. And she hand painted me a cute little pig, and I'm going to put that. I'm going to make a new wreath for my pantry door out in my kitchen out of that little pig wreath, or that pig canvas that she made. Very, very talented woman. All hand painted and extremely cute. So that's what I've done so far. I'm just filling it in. I'm just taking pieces and filling it in. I put one of my other little turquoise guys here, and then I put another one of these guys here. So I'm going to, this one's, okay. The wreath is kind of coming apart, but I can't. Okay, I can fix that. I'm going to glue this in now before I forget where I placed it. Yeah, this bow is really getting crushed, you guys, but I'll keep it going. So, let me know how you guys are doing, or if there's anything I can do. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, or if there's anything, you guys have any ideas, you want to change something, or if you want to see me do something in the future. I had a subscriber on YouTube ask me for a cornucopia. I'm definitely going to do that next. I have the perfect cornucopia basket in my garage. I've had it for years. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and they still sell it. I think I got it about 3 years ago. They still sell the exact same basket, although now all their stuff is on clearance. So I'm going to do that for the one. And then there's been some requests for my holiday tree, and I'm definitely going to get that done. It's just that's going to be time lapse because that takes. I mean, my tree, the holiday tree I do for harvest, my fall tree ends up being more full and more involved than my Christmas tree. And Christmas has always been my favorite holiday. So it takes probably, I have to have my husband, obviously. It's a 9-foot tree. I can't put it together on my own. And then I place a lot of garlands and different things in the tree. The whole purpose of the tree in the beginning was to make it easier to put my Christmas tree up after Thanksgiving, because you know we're cooking, you're cleaning, you're standing all day, and then you want to. Then I usually put my Christmas tree up the weekend of Thanksgiving, because in Nevada we get the day after Thanksgiving off. They call it Family Day, and previously I had not realized that that's just a Nevada holiday. No other state does that. Because I've had other people that their companies aren't from Nevada, and they think that we just made that up so we could have the weekend off for shopping. But apparently, no, Nevada calls it Family Day. All of the federal buildings, everything, school, kids, everybody's out of school. Post office is closed. So I always put my Christmas tree up, usually the day after Thanksgiving. And when you've already put in that much work for Thanksgiving, the hardest part should have already been done, meaning your Christmas tree's already up. But the harvest tree has turned into its own animal, and it's gorgeous. And there's many times that I don't want to take it down. I want to leave it up all for Christmas and not take down anything else. Alright guys, I'm not going to put these in. I bought these specifically thinking I would just pop a couple in, but I'm going to leave them out. I am going to pop a couple white flowers in, but only a few. And I want to put these orange ones in here, but what I want to do first is, I've only put one of those pumpkins in. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, because I bought 4 of them. And they're smaller, and I don't want them to get too lost in the shuffle. 1, 2, just take an inventory of what I have left. I got 1, 2, I got 3 of those. Okay. This one's a pretty big project, guys. I'm sorry if my table's all messy. So let's see. I have 1 more of these. And I think I'm going to place it over here on this side. Right on the outside of it, because not everything has to go on the top of the wreath. I'm possibly going to place it on the side. So here, let me show you what we have so far. So this is what we're working with so far. We've got a nice large amount here coming down. I have a space here I need to fill. It's a little bit empty if you can tell here. And then all this seems to be pretty good. I can stick some small things in here, but I have many options left over. And I want possibly some small things to come here, but I want to leave this piece open. I want this to still be exposed so you can see the natural brown grapevine. So I was thinking about putting this guy here on this side to kind of fill it in, and then replacing some white flowers over here and mixed it in. Mix them in. So that's possibly what I'm going to do here with this guy. You don't have to place everything on the top. You want it to look really full, like maybe like the flowers had grown there that way, and that they kind of bundled into a really pretty little natural bush on the side. Kind of like vines, they're uncontrollable, unpredictable. Let's see, what does Gladys say? I have done around 5 Horn of Plenty. Oh, you've made 5 of them arrangement. Were they for your own house, Gladys, or were they? Are they for sale? I've got a really big one, and I'm gonna. I mean, I don't know exactly how full to put. I know they're supposed to like just basically overflow with different, you know, the vegetables, the corns, and the squash, and all that other stuff. But I'm definitely gonna be putting a bunch of flowers in it too. And let's see. Oh, you sold them, even better. So they're very popular. Good to know. Good to know. There's a person that asked me for it. Just asked me, say they want to watch me make one. I've never made one, so I'm definitely excited to do it. This wreath has turned out pretty well, so I figure if I just do what I'm doing here, just in a cornucopia, everything should be fine. Right, guys? So Gladys, you'll have to watch that and let me know how I'm doing. I'll let everybody know once I do it. I have to get all my stuff down out of the garage, which I'm going to have my husband do possibly next weekend. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to do it next weekend, because I put all that stuff up before Halloween. I don't really decorate for Halloween very often. And if I do, it's only just some small stuff by the front door so that when we give candy out to the kids, they can see it. But my Christmas tree goes up usually right about now. And, you know, if we ever have people over, or, you know, the gas company for anything, someone needs to come in the house, they always kind of look at you a little strange. Like, yes, my Christmas tree is up in October. Give me a couple days or a week and you'll understand why. They look at you a little strange. It's actually quite entertaining. I guess that's the nature of the beast when you go into people's houses. You never know what you're going to run into. So I'm focusing on this part. I got that filled in. I want to put some stuff over here before it starts to get a little bit too out of hand with more flowers. So let me find all these. Okay, so Joanne's tags are in the same boat with the Hobby Lobby tags. They just don't come off. Michael's seems to be good with me. They come off, and usually I can just cut them and everything's fine. I wanted these berries to show. Not so much these berries. And see, look, that just came off of the pick. So now that I know they fall off that easy, I'm going to have to get to the other ones and glue them on. Yep, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to use my glue gun since I can't take it back out. Put a shot of glue on it. Alright, so that's how we learn. Okay, so let me show you. I was pulling on this guy that was already in the wreath to kind of adjust it a little bit, and I pulled him right off, just like that. So here's the piece that he came off of. And this happens a lot with other things. I didn't check it, so it's my fault here. So what I've done, very carefully, whoop, put a little bit of glue right here on the end. I mean a tiny bit of glue. It's not going to be, you know, some kind of cement issue, and then place it right back over that. You got a little bit of glue hanging out on the bottom, but now you don't have to worry about it falling out. And that's kind of part of the battle with some of your floral stuff. If the leaves or the flowers pop off too easily, then take the time and just put a little dab of glue on every single one. That way, especially if you're selling them to customers, you don't want to send these to people's homes and then pieces fall off, and then that could upset the person, especially if it's not someone who's crafty. Those of us who are fellow crafters, we understand, we know what it is, and it's a simple fix. Even I've bought things from other crafters. Now, I make floral arrangements, but I've bought floral arrangements from other crafters just because they're gorgeous. I mean, every artist has something different to offer, so I've bought other arrangements. And if something should happen to one of the arrangements I buy from another artist or another crafter, I have a good idea how to fix it. And I also understand that things happen because I also know the nature of artificial supplies. But if this person is not crafty and that's just not their thing, they purchased an item from you, you want to make sure that you're giving them something of good quality and that they won't be upset. Because a lot of times they're not going to understand that. They're going to think you sold them something not good. And that's definitely not your intention. It's not my intention ever. Haven't had it happen yet. So, let's see. I definitely need to make sure that I've got this guy glued in over here now since the other one comes off. And he's not off here, but I'm just going to shoot a bunch of glue right on top of it. Let me tell you, that ain't going anywhere. If anything happens to this wreath, that piece will definitely be staying in that spot. So there's 3 of those, one big orange guy. And let's see. I know that I absolutely need to have one of these gourds in there. The gourds are so cute to me. I'm not going to put the orange one in just because its color is kind of off from this guy. I don't really like him that much, although he doesn't really look like that on your camera. I don't want to. I don't want to. Might throw a little white one in up here. This little pumpkin. But these were my main reason for buying this little package. These turquoise guys here, these turquoise gourds, they're just super, super cute. And as you can tell, they fit the color scheme very, very well. So I'm going to turn them into picks. So here are my chopsticks. Excuse me, guys. Here's a chopstick I had left over. And here's another set. What I do is, got your chopsticks from your takeout. This one didn't break apart that well. What I'm going to do with it is I'm going to cut it. These ones, obviously all chopsticks have a thinner piece and a thicker piece. I'm going to cut this thicker piece off. This isn't going to help us anywhere. It's also going to be harder to place it into anything. And I'm going to cut it off at a diagonal. So I'll show you here. I cut it off at a diagonal, so now I have a point, and that's pretty, relatively sharp. I'm going to use this point to stick into the bottom of my styrofoam piece. So you're just going to hold it pretty securely and just gently move it in. Now these are made of styrofoam, I already know, so that's how easy that was. It just popped right in there. So now since I've made my hole, pull it back out, put my chopstick or dowel piece, my new pick end in glue, pop it right back in the hole I made, kind of twist it a little bit. So now I got a little bit of glue there, but once that dries, I now have this is now my new pick. And that works for anything that is not already a pick. If you want to make it into a pick, it can be done. So don't think that you find something cute on the tabletop for sale that you can't put in a wreath or an arrangement. You can. That's why chopsticks are a great repurposing item. I think everybody has them. Everybody has them. So let's see. Yes, we'll go watch. Perfect, perfect. Not to mention, if you don't have chopsticks, you can also buy them pretty inexpensively at any store too. But same thing with wooden skewers. I was using wooden skewers from the kitchen for a long time. I bought a humongous pack of them. I had a barbecue. I didn't use them all. And it had been a couple years. I was like, well, what am I going to do with these? And I was like, okay. Took them into the craft room. Repurposed them. Haven't really made skewers in the kitchen again, but I didn't want to buy them. Plus, places I was going, I should have went to the dollar store, but I didn't. Places I was going was selling them for way too much money. So I was like, you know what? We have an abundance of chopsticks with all the extra little goodies you get, you know, extra takeout menus and plastic utensils, and everybody has those little extras. I have a little separate drawer. I only save a few of them. I throw some of it out. But with the chopsticks, especially... Oh, I didn't make the hole first. See that, guys? I was talking. So I already got glue on here, but let's see. Yeah, worked. Look, it won't even come back out. Look, perfectly. Worked good. So did that backwards by my own... on my own mistake because I was talking too much. And now I've got 3 picks. So we're still good to go. Here's my dilemma. Placement. I don't necessarily want... I don't want to bombard the wreath with it, but I also don't want to leave it out. I think it looks... Let's see how this guy looks here. Just eyeball it and see where you like it. If it looks good to you. I don't know if I really want him there. I don't want him there either. Let's take a peek here. Might be too close to this orange pumpkin, I'm not sure. And he's a little upside down. I don't know how I feel about this one. What do you guys think about this one right here? I know I like this one up here for sure. This one's staying. But what about this guy up here? Or this guy down here? I don't know how I feel about him. Do I like this one here? Actually, might not put that one in there now that I think about it. Let's see. Did you get the bag goodies from Michael's or Hobby Lobby? This bag right here is actually from Joann's. This bag was from Joann's, and they were 70% off. They had a bunch. They only had 2 with the turquoise in it. So at the store I was at here in my hometown. But they had a bunch of other ones with oranges and greens and your classic regular, you know, fall colors. But that's a Joann's, and it was 70% off, so it was a really good deal. I don't like that one there. Just something's weird about it, and I don't want to put it too close to this one because I already have a pumpkin here. Let me see what he looks like. Right here next to it, this way. Okay, I didn't like them upside down, but I do like them like that, so I'm going to leave them right here. So I need to take some notice of where I put that in at, and I'm going to commit and glue it here, and then I'll hold it up and show you guys what I decided. I had it upside down, facing this way at first, so now I'm putting them in this way, and I really liked what I did, or I liked what I saw at least, so I'll show you guys. 5 seconds, let me get this in there. And it kind of fills that hole I had off to the side I was showing you earlier. I could put a couple little filler pieces or leaves over there too once I'm done. That's where I decided to put them. So I got my bright orange here, I got a good amount of turquoise here, and then I got a little dark guy here, and I'm liking him right here, just like that. He adds a little bit more dimension. I know it might be hard. I'm having difficulty even myself working on this on the table. With seeing exactly how the things are fitting together. I don't necessarily ever work on my wreaths on a door. If you guys work on wreaths, how do you guys do it? I've tried the easel thing, and I think it's because I bought a cheap easel. I didn't spend much on my easel. This easel back here was very inexpensive, but I'm short, and I can't reach the top of the wreath, and you know, trying to design the things that I want to put towards the top around the sides to make sure it's full. It didn't work for me, so I just either need to invest in a more adjustable type easel. Am I saying that right? It's an easel, right? That's called an easel. Anyways, I either need to invest in a bigger, more adjustable easel, or I need to just find a different way of doing it. I know there's some people that just work on their items on an actual door. I mean, and I could do that here behind me on this bathroom door here, but this door I don't believe this wreath is large, which I can show you guys in a minute after we're done. This wreath is a pretty large wreath right here. But this is a smaller door. This is a Jack and Jill bathroom. The door to leave the bedroom is right here. But it's a smaller door, so this wreath looks massive. It almost looks like it doesn't fit. This is the same size wreath as this one. This is an 18-inch grapevine wreath. And it might be a little difficult, especially if I want to make the next one on with the acorn I was showing you guys at the beginning. That's not going to fit on that door. So just looking for ideas on how I can keep doing this. This approach right now might be a little bit difficult. It still works for me. This is how I make all my wreaths. You know, when you're doing a swag or a centerpiece, it's a little different. But there's a lot of stopping and then taking note and looking at your work to see, make sure you're doing X, Y, and Z the way you wanted to. Okay, so let me put this back here, here. I'm not going to use those. So I got I think I bought 2 different kinds of flowers. I did. These are smaller. These are more cream. I'm going to use these. I thought these were the same, and they're not. You can actually even see the color. These are white, and these are ivory, so I'm going to use these. These have a really cute center on them, too. I didn't even notice. I see how it has like a little bit of color on it, but yeah. I thought I bought the same, but I didn't, so it's a good thing, because they're only an accent, so I only need this bush. So I'm going to start to cut these guys off here. Let's see how that works for now. These little white flowers are just going to be just a little accent here and there on it. Let's see, Gladys and Nancy both work on the table. So you guys work on the table the same as me. Okay. Let's see, Ivory, yes. I as well. I agree with you on the Ivory ones, Nancy. That's why I was taking a peek. I was like, wait a minute, these aren't the same. I thought I bought 2 of the same bushes, and I did not. So I just want to place 1 or 2 here and there, and I just dropped a leaf on the floor. Just want them to pop out just once, 1 or more. And then once I get those little orange flowers in there, those guys are going to look great. The little pop of orange, not flowers, leaves. Those little orange leaves. It's also hard to know when to call it quits, right, guys? I know I want this to be full and pretty and have, you know, its own dimension. It looks a little different here and there. But I also don't want it to be cluttered. And sometimes that's just not something that's just not something you think about until the end. And there we go. Hopefully I'm not neglecting this side too much. I didn't mean for it to get a little bit away from me, but let's take a peek here. I just want to make sure I got everything going pretty well. I'm really loving this color. I really do love this color. It's turning out really well. I'm so happy. Okay, so where can I place some white flowers in here? Here's a nice little spot. Let me just make sure I get that in there. Yep, that works good. I still have all these great little nooks and crannies to put those orange leaves, so trust me, they're going to go in and they're going to be the perfect little accent. This one seems to have argued with me. Okay, so that's what happened there. Didn't get it in time, so the glue kind of dried on me a little too early, so it wouldn't slide into the placement in the grapevine where I wanted it to go. So I'm going to have to re-glue it. And it came out very easy. It just popped right back out. So I can see where my placement is here. Maybe not. There we go. That's where I had it. Okay. That's where I had it. So now I got to go in for round 2. The glue dried way too quickly, so it was really easy to pull it back out because I couldn't push it in any further. If that glue starts to dry, you'll know it. You'll feel resistance, and it just will not slide into the space you want it to inside your grapevine. So let's see what we got here. What do we got next? Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining, and you like my craft room. Thank you so much. This is actually just a spare bedroom, and I have filled it with my hoard of craft supplies. It is actually quite terrifying if you were to see some of these other places in here. There's just a lot of stuff in here. But thank you. I appreciate it. And Nancy says you're doing an amazing job. I love watching your live tutorials. And your britches broom didn't turn out. Oh, well, what, was it the tool or maybe the dowel? Something didn't go right? I'm sure it probably looked okay. Did maybe the tool fall off? Because the very, very first time I made mine, I didn't secure the tool to the end of the broom tight enough with a zip tie, and some of it came apart when I went to switch it upside down. So, if you want, you can message me and I'll help you out with it. Message me either on the YouTube page and while you're watching the tutorial, or here on Facebook, and I can see what I can do to help you if you want to have another go at it. Because sometimes you don't know until you try, and then something could have popped up for you that didn't pop up for me, but we could all learn from it. So if you want, that's no problem. I'll help you out. Learn something new every day, right? At least that's what I used to be told when I was younger. You learn something new every day. It also just might have been something to keep the kids open-minded. I definitely need to move one of these guys over. Yeah, that guy's pretty solid there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is add some more flowers to this side of the bow. I got a lot of empty space on this side that I didn't see before. So I need to concentrate on this side of the bow for just a little bit. I don't want to squish too much into the bow because then your bow will squish in and it won't lay out and look nice, so you don't want to squish it really bad. So let's see. Some more of these guys off. Oh, that's right. I got these two also. This bush was just more or less greenery, and I thought I could use some of the real fuzzy parts just for a little filler here and there. This has actually got the mint green, the slate color in it, and this just going to have a little bit of grass sticking out. Those guys also are going to look really cute in there, so just grabbing them, and I'm going to just place them in. Just cut pieces off and place it. Usually I have a nice big mess here, and so far I haven't been lying. I've got a good little mess of all these little cut pieces here that you grab and you put and you place and you move. And then you find more, and then you move, and then you find more. And then it could have been the way I rolled the tool on the rod. When I folded it over, it did not flip right. Ah, I gotcha. Also, what you could do is just hold the tool in your hand instead of putting it down flat. Hold it in your hand, and then put the dowel on top of it. Maybe that would work more. Or just hold it in your hand and gather the tool in your hand around it, add the pieces, pull it down straight. That could help too. That's not going to work right there on that side. I thought I'd cut more pieces. Here's one. No, I need this one to work because it's bigger. It's got more meat to it. There we go. A lot of this flower placement can be tedious at times. Can feel like things are taking forever. And again, that's another one of those nature's ways of the crafting world. Some people have said they don't have a problem. They can get in their craft room and get things created in like 20-30 minutes. I'm not able to do that. I'm looking at least, I mean, how long have I been on this thing, you guys? Let's see how long this has been. Actually, it doesn't even tell me a time. It's been an hour and a half. Almost done though. Just got a few more things to add here and there. And then I get those orange leaves in. And I don't think I'm going to add another bow. I thought for a minute I was going to add some tails. I think I might need to though. It kind of is looking a little, the bow part's looking a little bare to me. Where's that third piece of bow at? There it is, it's down here. See, because I haven't even adjusted this bow yet since I was still putting in all the florals. I didn't mess with anything. I'm going to put this one going up top this way. See how you guys like this. And might need a little bit more pop of orange other than those leaves. I think I need to get the leaves in next, and then we'll see exactly how much more I want to add to it. But for sure, the leaves need to go in next, and then we'll see where it's at. And then there's always little tiny finishing touches. I mean, there's times where I've walked away from a project and I've placed it on the door, and then a couple days later, after I've looked at it here and there, I've seen something else that I wanted to add to it, and I've done it. I just went to it and I added to it, and you know, when you think that there's something that you possibly didn't want to do the day of, sleep on it. I've done that many times, and I've taken it off of doors, brought it back in here in my craft room, added the changes I wanted, put them back, and have been very happy that I did that. Sometimes you might not finish a project in one day or one sitting, and I'm very an advocate of that. There's been many times I have not finished things, or I've completely said, you know what, I'm done. I've done too much of it. I've added too much. I don't want to ruin it. X, Y, Z. Whatever might come up in your own mind. Walk away from it. Let it sit there. Look at it for a couple more times. See what else you like or what else you could do to it, and then change it a couple days later. And there's been some Facebook Lives and some projects I've done too where I've signed off here from you guys, and then I've either added or changed a few things, but then I've told you, hey, I went back in and I did this to it, or I went and I did this to it, so now it's got a little bit more of this, that, or the other, and it makes things a lot better. So of course I did say I was going to get my orange leaves in there, and I still haven't done that. I'm still adding things here and there. So let me stop, grab these guys, see what else I got, all my little extra supplies here. And so here's where the fun part stops. Sorry, I just said the fun part stopped. The fun part never stops, especially in here. When I said this is where the blue stops, and we're going to start adding little tiny pops of fun little color here and there. So I'm just cutting off 1 or 2 pieces of stem here, and I'm only going for the short ones because I don't want huge pieces popping out that I know of yet. We'll see what happens once I get in there. So let's just try that for now. And what I did before, because I only want little pops of orange here and there, is I cut the stem off, and I'm going to cut it again right here. So I'm going to turn this longer bush into little picks. So I'm going to cut it again right above that leaf. So now I have this piece as a pick, and I have this piece as a pick. And it looks like a pick because I cut it right above that last piece there. If you guys can see. That's where I cut it off at. So you can turn anything into a pick as long as you got your cuts in the right places. And it does. It looks great. I'm so excited about this, you guys. You're going to love it. Okay. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of orange throughout the whole wreath. And this looks so good with this little bit of orange here and there. Oh yeah, look at that already. I'm so excited about that. Look at that already. Isn't that great? With a little bit here, just a little piece peeking through here. That is awesome. That is very awesome. I thought about it earlier. I said I was going to put them away and I said, let me just keep them out on the top and see what we can do with them. See if it turns into a cute little idea. Not an idea, but a cute little accent. Something that will just add a little pop of orange. If this does enough for what we want it to look like, I'm not going to put little pieces of ribbon in it, because I'm thinking what's happening is my arrangement's getting really big and thick. I don't think it needs more ribbon, which is weird for me to say because I think everything needs ribbon. I love ribbon. And I got a decent, I got 3 pumpkins, 3 little pumpkins, 1 big, 2 gourds. It's looking really good in here. It's looking really good. It's making me really happy. And this bright orange is like the perfect pop. It's just the perfect accent off to the left, the right side. Oh yeah, very, very happy. And here's where it is. When these pieces fall off when I'm in the store, there's times where I will check each one to make sure that it's there. Now see, this piece has fallen off and I found an empty spot. So if you find them in the bags or in your cart, take them with you. They belong on your piece. So I just popped that and glued that guy right back on there, and now I'm going to cut it right above there. So now I have my 2 picks. See, I've got an extra one here. This was in the cart and in the bag. I got 2 flower buds for the flowers I bought. They were in the bag, so they fell off at some point between getting them from the car or from the store to the car to the house. So save them, because even if you don't find out where they fell off from, you can always use them as an accent on something else, whether you're making something small or maybe you can just secure it to the front of like a basket that you're doing, or you know, you can always find a way to just glue a cute little flower bud to something. So if you don't notice it while you're making whatever piece you're making, you didn't notice that that little piece of bud flower or whatever was missing, you've got you got a nice little extra piece that can serve as an accent for some other type of project. And I've got a plastic bin in my closet. The wreath is beautiful. Thank you, Linda. I really appreciate it. And Nancy, love the pop of orange. I know, isn't it perfect? It really worked out better than I had expected. It was starting to look a little monotone. I was concerned, but I was waiting till the end to add the orange, and it's very, very, very gorgeous. I'm very happy about this. Just enough here and there. Let's see. I'll cut this guy off here. He's lonely. I think that's it. I'm only going to add this more, maybe a couple more here. And let's see, I'm going to cut that right off here. So this one's a smaller piece. When I cut it right above this leaf here, so this looks like a normal pick. Look how cute and tiny this is. So I'm going to nestle that one so it pops out just like that. And no matter how small it is, you'll find that there's always somewhere you can nestle that in and pop that through. And I'm going to put it right here. I'll show you guys because this is pretty tall here. I'm only going to have to stick it through one little piece of grapevine right there, and it's going to pop, yep, just right there. Here, I'll show you. This small little pick, you think might not actually do anything. Let me show you real quick. I'm going to glue it up. And you're not sticking it deep in there. I'm going to glue it up a little bit. Well, look at that. Look at that guy right there. That's that tiny little pick, and it just pops perfectly. It's literally sticking straight out from the wreath, but because our arrangement is pretty thick, it's got a lot of depth, it worked out perfectly right there. That's why I love having all these scraps. I don't usually throw stuff away. I've got bins and bins of leaves and different things. Now, there are things I throw away. Trust me, I'm I like to joke that I'm a ribbon hoarder and other types, you know, stuff like that. But with smaller type things like these, you will find that you can always find either a place for it. Put that way. You'll either find a place for it, or it'll just unexpectedly happen, and you're just like, oh, that's where it was supposed to go the whole time. So I think I'm pretty much done, you guys. I don't know that I would add anything else. You guys have any other ideas? Thank you for sharing, Gladys. I appreciate that. That really helps out my page. Thank you so much. Lovely wreath. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm really happy with this. Oh, my bow. I can't. Oh, no. I just noticed this bow. It is not doing well. Let me fix it. It's a little bit more. Just bending here and there. I'm actually going to cut this a little bit shorter. That piece is a little bit too long in my taste. Only because I don't have any other tails sticking out in many other places. So remember, I'd left it a little bit longer anyways when I cut it off of the spool, because I didn't know exactly, and I almost cut it backwards. I didn't know exactly how long I wanted to have it. So just, yeah, that's perfect. I'm going to save that piece. You can always reuse that. So just make my little adjustments here. Alright guys, I think I'm pretty much done. I have a few other little pieces that I might just poke in here and there, but I mean if you can, I don't know if you can't really see down here. I've got just a small handful, just a very small handful of left. Actually, that's it. And I got one. I'm not going to put this pumpkin in. I got a little small handful. So obviously, I'm going to find a place for these two things because I don't want to waste them. I got extra supplies left over of everything. So if you can tell here, I've got a lot left over to make maybe not one such as this size, but without having to go back to a craft store and buy more supplies, there's definitely more than enough here to make a smaller wreath, such as maybe something along this scale. This guy is an 8-inch wreath, and this guy could do possibly the exact same thing, maybe with one of the other cream pumpkins I didn't use, but I've got enough left over here that I can still make another project, maybe just like a little mini one, you know, something like that. But I did not use all of my flowers because I bought 2 of everything except for the large ones. The pumpkins I used, this is a Hobby Lobby pumpkin, the big guy. I have a couple more. They sell them every single year. They never run out. So all of everything else, it just looked so great. I'm so happy that those little pops of orange look really great in there. So I'm going to finish the back. I put some pictures before of my swag that I just made so you guys could see the back of it, how I cover up the mechanics. I literally just I literally just glue leaves to the back to hide all this. So here's your back. You guys can't tell. This is a pipe cleaner from my bow. So I'm going to finish that off, weave it in, cover it up. I don't see anything really popping through. There's a couple picks here and here. There's one of the chopstick skewers sticking out right here. I'm going to cut that off a little bit, put some glue over it to secure it, and then, you know, use some of these leaves, possibly just kind of place them in there. And that covers up all the behind the scenes. It also keeps things from scratching your door. So if you're placing something on the door and you don't really want to ruin your door, I know over time it's going to happen, especially with a grapevine wreath. That's just part of the process that you accept when you put a grapevine wreath on a door. It's going to scratch it. But it's always good to try to help it, to prevent it at first if you can. But there's not really much to cover up back here. Here's the wire I used before. So see, that piece just came out for the leaf that we took out. So I'm going to get rid of that. Those will be easy to take out. And see that those 2 came out real easy. So there's really nothing to cover here. Just a few little picks pop through here. I'll put some leaves on it. Maybe put a couple leaves back here so you don't really see what's going on the base of the pumpkin. And then that's pretty much it. So we have just enough of the grapevine showing here. I can't wait to take pictures and show you guys tonight. It's going to look so great in, you know, proper lighting. So I really appreciate all you guys joining me today. I appreciate the hearts I saw. I'm really excited to have you guys with me on my Facebook Lives. This is the first one I've had where I've had people present and making comments, so it was really, really fun. It felt really great. And then, of course, I'm going to post this playback to YouTube. So obviously it's a pre-recorded item, but all my YouTube subscribers. I appreciate you guys completely. I know a lot of you come over from Facebook too. I appreciate every single one of you guys. It makes me feel good to be able to help people and to also get feedback from you guys. I've learned so much in the last couple of months just from having comments come back and forth. I'm trying out a bunch of stuff that even my subscribers and my Facebook fans have told me. So again, if there's anything that you guys want to see, or if there's anything more that I can do with this guy, let me know. And then any requests, just send me a message or comment on the pictures. I'm going to post some good pictures to Facebook, and you guys will see those coming up soon. And then next, I think, will be the cornucopia. I need to get up into the garage and get one down. But it's just an empty basket, but I got a lot of good stuff to put in it. So I think next will be the cornucopia. Otherwise, it may be another wreath. I still need to make a swag for the corn. I had a little metal corn piece. I posted that picture on Facebook last week. I'm going to make a swag out of that. I'm going to find out what to do with that leaf. I might do a swag out of that one as well, because it was just too cute to pass up. It didn't work for this guy, and I'm glad that you guys were here to help me, give me some advice to let me know that, yeah, we need to take it out, because this turned out gorgeous. So again, thank you, everybody. I saw some hearts. Thank you so much for the hearts. I appreciate it. So until next time, I can't wait to hear from you guys. Keep in touch, and have a great evening, and an even better tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.